Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 1002, written by Awesome and Wholesome. When an alien visits the dentist. I'm a dentist and I do mostly extractions at the moment. Had a patient come for one and got on it. She looked normal, healthy if anything. A bit timid, nothing out of the ordinary. During the procedure, I noticed something odd. Anesthesia is not nice, but she didn't even flinch. Doesn't hurt per se, but everybody at least blinks or at most squints their eyes, but not her. She had absolutely no reaction to it at all. Odd, I thought, but carried on with it, and during the whole ordeal, she didn't react to anything else either. Doesn't hurt, but is quite an unpleasant experience. Took a while. I had to remove a bit of bone to extract it, cut it in half and whatnot, but nothing out of the ordinary. When it was done, she got her prescription, quietly thanked me, and went on her way. Was then when I was cleaning up the office and instruments that I noticed they had no blood on them at all. Nothing, not a drop. I don't know how I didn't notice that she didn't bleed while I was doing it, but I didn't. The procedure involves quite a bit of blood, especially when you need to section the tooth to extract it. But she didn't bleed at all, period. Super weird considering that and the fact that she had no reaction to the procedures whatsoever. It freaked me out a bit. It happened 2 days ago. Case notes are file 1002. When an alien visits the dentist. So we humans are, well, any animal really, are incredibly varied. And it comes down to evolution. Our genetics are a blueprint to design us. Basically, if you want to build a house, you need an instruction set to follow, where to put the studs and the wide beams and so on, and all the nails and everything else. Of course, the human body is immensely complex, unimaginably so. It'd be like trying to build 1 billion homes within a tiny confine, and it's figuring out a way to do it, where every process interacts with each other. Amino acids and proteins inside of cells communicating with each other and taking instructions from our DNA in terms of what to do. Even though they're not thinking entities, they're just like computer code. It's operating on a set sequence based on parameters that are defined by our own DNA. It's incredible, really. Every person is going to have slightly different DNA, instruction sets, and these mutations can lead to interesting effects. Often, they have no effect, because it's changing DNA that doesn't really affect anything. A lot of our DNA is like basic instruction sets, but it's not going to change a higher level function. But if you do change one of those higher level functions or expressions, then you can have different traits entirely. You know, some people are born with 6 fingers instead of 5. Other people are born with extra things. Suffice to say, we are all slightly different. Now, most of us are similar enough that medical science still applies. But in cases like this, maybe rare cases where they should still have blood, of course, but not feeling pain, some people literally don't feel pain. And it's actually a detriment to survival, so it's not a gene that would be passed on, because it reduces your chance of reproducing. Still, the idea that she has a high pain tolerance is entirely possible in my mind. It's the lack of blood that makes no sense. Was this actually an alien? And if it was, why did they go to the dentist? Do they just want to examine how dentistry works? I guess maybe they'd have a fascination with that. And certainly you would know as the expert dentist that during these operations there would always be blood. It's not something you could mistake. You know, it's not just poking someone with a little cleaning brush and like, no, there should be blood. No, this is chopping up a tooth or whatever you said. I believe you that there should be blood, and if there wasn't, that is an unexplainable anomaly to me. Don't know if it was an alien. That might just be my bias. Probably is. It's something. Case file number 1003. Written by Traz O. When words are amplified beyond reasoning. This happened some years back. To this day, it makes me wonder if there's more to reality than science knows. And I'm a big fan of science. I was taking a short vacation with my fiancée and my parents. I had taken a job away from home, and they met me in the middle of our separation, at a beach motel on the East Coast. We had adjoining rooms, and having just got there, the doors were open. Liz and I decided to get some ice, so we took 2 ice buckets and headed for the ice machine. The motel layout was linear. We were some distance out from the central hub area, with vending machines and ice. Exactly 23 yards and some inches from turning the corner into the vending area, I heard my father say, "Where's Jim and Liz?" It was like he was speaking into my ear. I turned around, but he wasn't there. My mother said just as close. They went to get ice. I looked at Liz. She'd stopped when I did. Did you hear that? She just said, how? We went back and asked my parents what they'd talked about without telling them what we'd heard. Eventually Mom said, wait, remember, you asked where Jim and Liz went? The scientific skeptic in me kicked in, and I inspected the spot where we'd heard them. No vents or holes for sound to travel through. I measured the distance from the room using the admittedly imprecise method of counting strides. I arranged experiments where people in the motel rooms standing in various locations spoke sentences, often quite loudly, but no one standing where we heard them ever heard anything again. This isn't deep or significant, except that I can't explain it at all. Case notes for file 1003. When words are amplified beyond reasoning. So likewise, I like to explain glitches away or anomalies, try to figure out what could cause them. If it's just normal science, that's cool. In this case, you do mention, air ducts, vents, anything that could move the compressed air, that is sound, through a medium to reach your ears. But even if it was through a vent, maybe if it was like right next to your ear, then it could sound like it's coming. But even then, there would be like an echo effect. You would be able to know it's not just from someone standing behind you or something. Maybe that could have explained it, but like you say, there were no air ducts or anything. You even tried to talk in the room where they were, and no one heard it after the fact. So something happened there that carried the voice over. Now, did it actually compress the air and somehow just amplify it? Well, probably not. No one else reported hearing some gigantic boom that would be required to transmit the pressure wave that far. So it seems like, for some reason, maybe because they were thinking so intently about you, their voice carried telepathically into your mind. That's a rare one. Not one you hear about too often, but I guess if we're able to push our souls forward, astrally project in the world, then maybe we can do the same with our own thoughts directly. Rather interesting, but it's not something that I hear about often. In fact, I don't know if I've read a glitch like this before. Maybe once or twice, but usually it's more of an instinct that the other person feels, like someone they love is in trouble or hurt, but not directly hearing their thoughts. That's a new one. Creepy file number 82, written by Bonacoso de Novara, The Night Park Terrors. Here's my personal experience after walking at night in the park near my old house. It's right on the edge of the city, and while the park looks like about 2 square miles of wild nature, it's surrounded by the city from 3 sides, and with a suburban area and mall from the 4th. Thus, it's not some wild land of Bigfoot, but apparently this place has something. As always, after work, I sometimes go to this park at night. The place is safe, no animals bigger than squirrels, so nothing to worry about. This time, I decided not to walk by its trails and alleys, but to go to the distant part, where on the bottom of a wide ravine flows a small, about 2 meters wide and shallow, stream supporting local ponds. Shores are open and have some sticky black clay on them in some parts, and a local village long ago was named Black Mud after this. But in many places, a meter or 2 from the shore, starts bushes and trees. I was going by the shore. Night is clear enough and no trees above the stream, so I could see without a flashlight. Nothing suspicious, only ordinary night forest sounds. Then I saw some movement behind in the bushes in front of me, where the stream turns from my shore. Here I should add that overall, while I am a bit afraid of darkness, yes, it's a strange combination with night park walks, I got used to this particular park, visited for years, so almost every part is very familiar to me. Besides, it's all surrounded by civilization. So I saw some movement in those bushes, about 15 meters from me. Slowly trying not to make any sound by stepping on some crunchy branch on the shore, I walked forwards. Between the bushes, there was some free space, enough for me to get forwards in between. Behind them, there was a small meadow, and then... Here, it's hard for me to tell. My mind, since then, makes me think that I saw a dog, but I can't remember any visual of the dog. No breed, no size, nothing. I do not remember what I saw there, but what I did next is I instinctively rushed backwards to the stream, took from the ground the biggest branch I could see, and ran away from there, looking backwards often, but there was nothing. I stopped only on the hill for half a mile, overlooking the forested ravine bottom around the stream. It was calm and quiet. I finally dropped my stick and, confused, went home. So far, I have no idea what it could be, but back then I was in panic mode for a few minutes, and then it was okay again, like an on and off switch. Case notes for the creepy file number 82, Night Park Terrors. So again, we're reaching points where there are creatures that are appearing all over the place, it seems, like on roads and forests and everything, where fear is evoked, and I don't know if they're trying to make themselves seem more terrifying than they are, or these are real monsters that are messing with people's brains, but they're actually terrifying and mean us harm. It didn't chase you, whatever it was, and it really is the most important point that your mind couldn't even process what it was seeing. Maybe it was an alien. I mean, just to say, if aliens are here, they probably would have technology that could warp our perception of something, and if we're seeing it, we instinctively know we're not supposed to. Now, of course, why would an alien be in, not Central Park, but equivalent to Central Park in wherever city or town you live in? I don't know. It seems very odd altogether. I don't think any random beast would have that kind of power. It doesn't seem quite right. And what the hell was it doing in the middle of a city park? I haven't heard of any stories where someone is reporting in a city area to be attacked by any kind of wild beast or supernatural fear inducer. You'd think there'd be reports of that, so maybe it was just hiding, and it didn't want to be found at all. This is like its defense mechanism to make you run away, instead of having to fight. And now time for the story of the day. Once upon a time, in a small village, nestled at the foot of a great mountain, there lived a young boy named Taro. Taro was known throughout the village for his kind heart, quick wit, and unquenchable thirst for adventure. One day, Taro decided to climb the great mountain that loomed over the village. Many people had tried before him, but none had succeeded. Undeterred, Taro set out on his quest, determined to reach the summit. As Taro climbed higher and higher, the air grew thin, and the terrain grew more treacherous. He slipped and stumbled, but he always got back up and kept going. Finally, after many days of climbing, Taro reached the summit. The view was breathtaking. He could see for miles and miles, and the sun was beginning to set, casting the sky in a magnificent array of colors. But, as Taro gazed out at the beautiful vista before him, he felt a deep sense of loneliness. He had achieved his goal, but he had done it alone. He realized that the true beauty of life comes not just from reaching our goals, but from sharing our experiences with others. With this newfound wisdom, Taro made his way back down the mountain and returned to his village. From that day on, he devoted his life to helping others and bringing people together so that they could share in the beauty of life with each other. And so the moral of the story is this: life's greatest joys are meant to be shared with others. Whether we're climbing mountains or simply enjoying a beautiful sunset, we should always seek to bring others along with us on our journey. Everything is better with other people. Even though I'm an introvert, I still believe this. And if you don't have someone else to share your experiences with, at least get a pet. Having a dog by your side is such a massive boost to one's morale and happiness. But really, you want to find someone that you can love. Not just sexual, that's to the side. It's not the most important thing. It's someone that you connect with emotionally, intellectually, and can share in all the struggles of life. Not just the achievements and the rewards, but the struggles too. That's how we build character. That's why going to the gym is awesome. Even though it's a struggle, you're pushing your body to its limits and beyond. But that's the point. You want to grow together. Like the video, subscribe. Kinetic Symphony signing off.